Hello everyone, how are you doing on this beautiful day? Coming at you with a video finally with commentary. This is post-commentary, because unfortunately, as you guys have seen, I haven't had time to do commentary in most videos. I've been recording at 4 in the morning, and I live in an apartment complex, so I'm not going to be doing that to my neighbors. That is evil. But this is a match that I felt needed some post-commentary. This is my second time recording it, and it's a 30-minute match, so please bear with me as I try to bear with myself. This is the craziest control mirror I think I've ever had, or at least one of them. So I wanted to have, there's some particular things about my deck and what's going on, some interactions I wanted to highlight, otherwise some things won't make sense. So first of all, I wanted to let Syncopate on turn 2 for a Search for Kanta. So that's why you saw me pay 2 life for that Sacred Foundry. Or Thought Erasure was what I was expecting with that turn 1 Watery Grave. So yeah, sorry I haven't been able to do some commentary as much as I would like. Let me know how much that matters to you guys, because what I think I was going to do is I can do leagues of constructed competitions, whatever it's called, the 7 wins or 3 losses. It was called Quick Constructed before, I can't remember the new one. Constructed event, there it is. I could do those without commentary and then just do some highlight videos like this with commentary, just because they're not as long as, doing commentary in a 2-hour video. It takes a lot of time. But if a game's, 5, 10, 20 minutes long, shouldn't be too hard. So you see me there countering Dawn of Hope, and a lot of people are thinking, well, you could do Ixalan's Binding, but what I'm thinking is, I was trying to draw out a Sinister Sabotage, so then I can Ixalan's Binding the Dawn of Hope. And what I was thinking is, well, if I don't do Syncopate now, I'll wait till my turn, then I'll play Ixalan's Binding. I might not even have Syncopate backup, because I might not draw a land, which I didn't. And then he counters my spell, and I'm completely tapped out for his turn. So, here I am thinking, alright, well, I guess I have to Syncopate it so that I'm in a better position for my turn. And it worked out for the best, but then he gets this Conclave Tribunal on my Ixalan's Binding, and I'm like, okay, well now I can just play Binding on his Tribunal, and then I get Teferi, but nope. He hits a land drop, and he pluses Teferi, and he gets to untap and have Counterspell up. So right here, maybe I should have just gone for the Binding, but there was no point where if I were him, I would have countered a spell. So I just play Niv Mizzet, because I don't want to just get completely blown out this turn, and I want him to have something to deal with Niv. I was hoping he'd tuck it with Teferi and then have to play something that taps him out, and then I could Binding his Tribunal. But what ends up happening is I'm pretty sure he just plays a Murder. First Kanta first, yep. That's the one thing about the white decks. Against blue-red, you know they're going to have to play an instant or sorcery to deal with Niv, which is great because you get cards out of it. But against white, there's a lot of enchantment stuff going on. But he still plays Murder, so I get a card out of the deal. I get to push Teferi back a turn. I'm like, okay, maybe this will help me just draw into another Niv Mizzet. Who knows? But here's something to consider. I only have 3 Ixalan's Binding, and I only have 7 win conditions. I have 3 Niv Mizzet, 3 Teferi, and 1 Ral. And those win conditions get pushed to the limit. And so here you see I was right earlier to not play the Binding because he definitely has a Sabotage up. But now that I have the Counterspell up with Expansion Explosion, this card is an all-star. I get to get it through and I get to tuck away his Teferi. If it wasn't for me top decking that Counterspell, this game would have been over so quickly with a Teferi emblem. So, now his 2 ways of dealing with my bindings are gone. So the one thing I'm worried about is if he has, 2 Conclave Tribunal and 1 Ixalan's Binding for situations like this. But, turns out he only plays Conclave Tribunal. So, we're in the clear, so I'm like, okay, 2 of your interaction/win conditions are out of the picture. And if he's playing Dawn of Hope, I figure Teferi and Dawn of Hope are pretty much his only win cons. He might have a Lyra or something, but that's not hard for me to deal with. So right now I'm thinking, okay, I have 6 threats left in my deck. I have to draw one with Counterspell backup. Because these tokens are just going to be ruining me. And this hello is kind of a weird timing. I didn't know what to make of it. Maybe it's because he realized it's now just turning into an actual game. So he's like, alright, let's both acknowledge we're getting into a game here. But later on he gets kind of sassy with it. He just starts spamming. I don't know. It was weird. Let me know what you guys think, but you see me here not going for the Justice Strike because I figure, hey, I want you to be using all your turns to make those tokens, and then I can sweep them up. This gives me the most draw steps. I can't go 1 for 1 with your tokens. If you could only make 1 a turn, Justice Strike would be fine to use, I suppose. But when you're making 2, 3 a turn, that's just going to put me behind, and I'll have to use a sweeper in pretty much just as many turns anyway. So, I guess maybe using it to prevent the card draw from that first one, but I figure you're going to be drawing all the cards you need anyway. Doesn't even matter. If I can't even deal with what you have on the battlefield, it doesn't matter if I keep you from if I prevent you from drawing even more cards. So we're hitting land drops. I'm waiting until he draws, you know, or makes about 3 or 4 tokens to play my sweepers, just because I need to ration them out to last as long as possible. I was even getting worried to the point where maybe he just starts countering those instead of my actual stuff. And there you see him flipping the Escanta. Things are looking really bad. I figure if he has another win condition or another way to deal with Excellence Binding, he's going to find it real soon with that Escanta. But what I should have noticed is that actually he doesn't activate it much. He just only goes on the Dawn of Hope. So either he assumes this is a good game plan, because, you know, who plays 3 Excellence Bindings? And he can keep up counter spells. And that's what he's trying to draw to as well. But yeah, I'm pretty sure he leaves up an activation here. Oh, nope. Another Dawn of Hope activation. For my end step. So yeah, here he is discarding down to hand size, and you'll see in a turn or two, he literally just stops drawing cards off Dawn of Hope. And that's when I get real concerned, because that means he has constructed like the best 7 cards for this matchup. Filtered out all his dead cards. Unlike me, I'm still using my Conclave, my Deafening Clarion rather. Sorry, this is on a small preview window I'm watching this on. So yeah, this is a crazy one. There you see the Dawn of Hope. Ooh, buddy. That card does work. And the whole time I'm just thinking, how do you beat mono red? Because murder is not a mana efficient way to deal with their threats. I saw Settle the Wreckage, but that's not very good either. They just get more lands for risk factor. Play that multiple times a turn. And then even then they have to tack into it. And usually only hit 1 or 2 threats. Yeah, and he only has 4 counter spells, and Dawn of Hope is so slow and it gets wrecked by Chain Whirler. I tried Dawn of Hope in my Jeskai deck and it was way too slow. Every game I beat them with it, I never got to use it. It was decent against mono green though. You get to a chump block Nullhide Ferox, but mono green has kind of disappeared lately. Yeah, and you see here I am, I'm like, okay, this is getting bad, because I can see what's going to happen already. I'm going to Deafening Clarion, he makes 4 tokens. I go down to 3. I Deafening Clarion, and then have to Sheevan Fire just to strike to stay alive at 1. So it's a good thing I drew Niv here. I'm like, thank goodness, finally. All I needed was like a Chemist's Insight or something to get the ball rolling, but Niv will have to do. He's especially good, because they can't counter him and he deals with all their tokens. So good, man. So good. That's why you see him, he's only at 3 mana. No one plays Fiery Cannonade. I'm just gonna make my tokens, put him at 1. And here I have 2 options. I can either Sheevan Fire and Justice Strike to kill 4 dudes with the token, with the Niv Mizzet triggers, and block 1, take 2 damage. Or I can just let everything pass, go to 1, and hold up a Sinister Sabotage or something crazy. In retrospect, I maybe would rather do the Sheevan Fire, because the whole time I'm thinking I just gotta keep Niv Mizzet alive. But chances are he has a counterspell backup for whatever removal spell he has. He's drawn like 2/3 of his deck. So I think I'd rather just do this and get more cards out of the deal anyway. And keep myself at a place where 1 token isn't lethal, where I don't have to do a sweeper every single turn. But it ends up kind of working out for me. Whereas if I were him, I probably would have just killed Niv right now. Oh, he does. So, Sinister Sabotage. So you see me kill the token first. I counter his murder. Pointed at the token. Well, no, before this resolves, he counters it. So then that's you see me start going to face, because I know I'm going to have to do Deafening Clarion just to stay alive, so it's no point in hitting the tokens anymore. Goodness gracious, we're only a third of the way through this game. So yeah, the whole time I'm thinking, okay, all I need is either Teferi or my Ixalan's Binding to tuck away that Dawn of Hope. That's all I need at this point, because I don't know what other win cons he has. Because I know he's not playing Dream Eater. He's playing smart and he's really reserved. He has like a very few win con deck list. And so, Esper, pretty much the only win cons it can have are... Oh, this is so gross. So I see here you can only make one token. So you see me put something on the end step of him making a token. Yep, I get rid of the auto pass turn, put on full control so I can sheave and fire it. Because I don't want it to get countered. And then I put a marker on his end step because I need to draw into something good with Chemist's Insight. Oh boy. But yeah, so I'm like, okay, so we can't have like many win cons left, and I can definitely deal with Dream Eater. So I just gotta find a way to deal with Dawn of Hope, and then we're good. Then we are golden. And again, you see him play another Azcanta, so I'm like, he's got all the value he needs. And I drew a Niv Mizzet like a lucky boy. Granted, I'm pretty sure there's only like 25 cards left in my deck at this point, so it's not that crazy to have drawn. I think this is the second one. Two of my 7 threats going through 40 cards. Yeah, and you saw me struggling there for a while. I'm like, why is it tapping so much blue? I want more open, and then I realized it's tapping 3 blue. I only have 6 blue sources total anyway. So, yeah, I'm just being dumb. Yep, make your tokens. And what I wanted to do here was Chemist's Insight after the token is made, but you see me misstep. I get a little too antsy. I put on full control, but I did it a little bit wrong. I wanted to be able to shoot down his token. But then I figure, oh, you know, any instant or sorcery speed way he has of killing my Niv, it'll hit the token anyway. But it's still kind of a punt. Because I would have liked to have been able to deal with it. And you see me, I'm pretty sure I hover over my face. And I like hover over the oops for a hot minute, but it was already kind of weird between me and this guy, so I'm like, I don't know. There it is. I'm like, I want him to know, but I also don't want him to know. And there you see it leaving me with no red source. If I'd have paid closer attention, I would have liked to have left up a red to make him think I had another Sheev and Fire. So then killing my Niv wouldn't have even done it if he had like an enchantment way of killing my Niv. And so here I have a dilemma. I know that he has Seal Aways, I know he has Settle the Wreckage. So what I should have done in retrospect is just done Sinister's. Well, here's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I could play a Ral, and I could just try to find another counterspell or something. Or just find the Ixalan's Binding and have that be GG. Or I could find like another counterspell. Either way, I'll have Sinister Sabotage and Expansion up to win a counter war. However, doesn't work out that way. I don't even know why. That is exactly how it works out. What am I talking about? Sorry. It's been a long day. I'm very sick. I don't attack this turn, because I know I can deal with all the tokens. What I end up doing is Expansion Explosion to hit all the tokens, because I'm just thinking this whole time, I'm like, I just gotta find the Ixalan's Binding. I can't imagine how low it can possibly be in my deck, or my Teferi. So yeah, that's what I do. The next turn I go through the dilemma. What eventually ends up happening is I'm like, I'm at 1, and I can't just keep on instant speed killing for 3 to 5 tokens, you know, even with Niv Mizzet, and there's no way I'll deal 30 damage to him in that time while drawing 4 to 5 cards a turn to be able to kill all his tokens. So what ends up happening is I'm like, okay, I have to use Deafening Clarion to give Niv lifelink and try to attack in to gain some life to give myself some space. So this is me paying the price of going down to 1 that other turn. paying for my mistakes. And fun fact, Expansion Explosion is really good with Niv. Because you hit him for double whatever X equals, because you draw those cards. It's so good. Yeah, so that's what I decided to do this turn. And I'm like, wow, still haven't drawn a single Teferi. I have like 20 cards left in my deck. Yep, 21. There it is. You saw me hover on it. I'm like, okay, at this point, even like, if I don't hit in with Niv, a Ral Emblem won't even be fast enough to kill them. Because that's 4 damage times 7. I have to cast 9 instant or sorcery spells, draw 18 cards, and I deck myself. Especially since most of my instants or sorceries draw me cards as well. So yeah, at this point, I just resign myself. I'm like, okay, I'm going to get decked if I don't just put on the pressure. So there's no point in trying not to deck myself and then just losing more slowly. I have to push the pressure, see what I can get away with. And I don't do the 3 damage thing, A, because it's pointless, and B, playing around Moment of Craving. Because I'm like, if he beats Mono Red, he must have Moment of Craving or something. Fungal infection? I don't know. Yeah, so I'm like, I need to gain some life. And the cool thing about this is even though, as you'll see, Niv, look at that seal away. You ready? You ready? Seal away. Alright, I'm like, okay, let me counter this. Let's see what happens. I have 2 counter spells. I still gain some life off of his triggers, which is great. So that gives me a little bit of breathing room to where I think I can keep myself alive with the Justice Strike is what happens. Because here you see me draw Sheevan Fire. Yep. And so there's his 3rd Sinister Sabotage, I believe. It might be his 4th. And so at this point I'm thinking, okay, I've seen 0 Syncopates, 0 Negates. Maybe he's just running 4 Sinister Sabotage. It seems like that kind of deck. That's the vibe I'm getting. So at this point I realize more and more, this is just all about finding Teferi or Ixalan's Binding. So if I can turn Sheevan Fire into a card instead of just killing 1 token, I'm absolutely going to do that right now. So you see me cycle it. I don't do it with Justice Strike because I want to be able to kill the one when he makes it at the end of this turn. I think I mess it up though, because it doesn't give me priority back, which is sad. But what are you going to do? Yep, so you resolve on that, you take that. It's interesting they have animation for Seal Away in Uncommon, but there's some rares and mythics that don't. I mean, I guess because it got played so much, but, you know. Yeah, so you see me, I even thought about keeping him top because I just didn't want to mill myself, but then I'm like, wait, I don't even have a choice. Yep, so right here I would have wanted to hit it with the Justice Strike, but it put me straight to discard and then pass the turn, so I don't know why I didn't get priority, but it was strange. It was strange to me. So you see me do it anyway. Did it anyway, now. Have him look at his hand, he's like, I mean, I guess it resolves. And then he contempts my Ral. Which, in retrospect, is interesting to me, because he should have just done the math. Ooh, that's a fun little interaction. Contempt, give you a card of Dawn of Hope. Ooh, nice. I like that. Because if we're all ultimates, I still don't win. He should have looked at my number of cards and he's like, okay, if you ultimate, I'm happy about that. But maybe he's thinking, okay, this guy's digging fiercely through his deck. Maybe he's not stupid. He has an answer to what I have. So maybe that's what he's thinking. So yeah, so drawing Teferi off the top here is crazy. Having him resolve blew my mind. I just threw him right into it because I'm like, okay, if this doesn't resolve, I absolutely have 2 left in my 11 cards. And 2 Chemist's Insights will definitely get me there. And here I choose not to tuck Dawn of Hope because he has its Kanta out, so he just gets it right back. Speaking of getting another Teferi. Hey, bud. Yep, you make your dudes, bro. Gosh, this card just wrecked me so hard. I just want to know what his matchup looks like against mono red. And so yeah, I didn't tuck that. I didn't tuck the seal away because with Niv Mizzet I was scared of decking myself. I wanted, at this point I at least had a hope of ultimating Teferi. And he's going to face, I'm like, huh, maybe I don't Fiery Cannonade. Maybe I'll Justice Strike. Because this way he still feels like he has to make more tokens in order to have lethal next turn. And I can buy a little bit more time for Teferi. But I do kind of change my plan here, as you see. He's drawing more cards. Gross. There he goes. Yep. And so you see me not... That's where you notice I changed my mind, because I did not cast a Chemist's Insight. So at this point I'm thinking, okay, Teferi will not be able to ultimate in time. Even if he does, I don't think there's enough sweepers left in my deck to make me not die before I can exile Dawn of Hope. Because what? I plus him to 6, then plus him to 7, then plus him to 8, then ultimate. That's 4 turns. I have 2 sweepers in my hand, and he makes him instant speed. So I would absolutely die. So I'm like, okay, this is now about Niv Mizzet. So I keep the Chemist's Insights in my hand as another form of instant speed sweeper for the tokens. You see me, I wanted to do it right here as well, but again, I forgot that it just doesn't give me priority at the end step again. I forgot to go full control to allow me to do that, so kind of got screwed there. But what are you going to do? He bins a card, doesn't transform it. Pretty sure he attacks with everyone. Because what does he have to lose? Bam. So at this point I'm like, okay, I have to draw my Ixalan's Binding and be able to cast it and kill my Niv Mizzet without decking myself. This is a very interesting game, and I have to play very carefully because I don't know if I have to keep, like, you know, a card left for the Counterspell War to land the Ixalan's Binding. Because I have 2 counterspells left in my deck, 1 Sabotage and 1 Syncopate. There's the Sabotage. So here I am thinking, like, oh man. I think this next turn I end up killing my Niv Mizzet. Because I'm thinking as well, he could just play, like, you know, 2 Moment of Cravings and counter his own spell just to deck me. Because I'm like, alright, I gotta get rid of all his threats, and then I gotta be able to talk to Teferi infinite times. Because he's got like 15 cards left, I believe. Sorry for the coughing. So I'm like, alright, so it's not that many turns. And maybe he just doesn't have the win conditions left. I'll find out quickly because he has his Kanta. So you see me, I'm like, maybe Chemist's Insight? No. No, that seems bad. I'm going to deck myself. Yep, and then if I would have done it, I would have decked myself this turn. See me deal 1 damage to him because I want to be able to... Oh, Teferi. Maybe. Nope. I start doing the math. I have 5 cards left. I'm like, this will put me to 4. Insight will put me to 1. If I have to counter something, or if he plays a spell, then I'm screwed. So you see me deal the 3 damage to Niv because I want any spell he plays, even if it's like a Counterspell War or something. I want to be able to kill Niv Mizzet so I don't deck myself. And I really want to know what's in his hand, because if it is literally all just instants and sorceries, he could have just decked me, but maybe it's just all seal aways and stuff. It's probably like seal away, Teferi, Dawn of Hope. Now you probably only play 2. And here you saw me consider there for a second countering it, but then I'm like, wait, that's no good. I just gotta find my Ixalan's Binding. And with one of these draw steps, I can kill my own Niv. And then I'm like, wait, I don't even need to kill my own Niv. I have a seal away hitting him. Perfect. And so yeah, this is like 3 days after this that I'm recording this commentary, so I don't remember, obviously don't remember off the top of my head how many sabotages I saw, but I'm pretty sure at the time I must have been like without looking at his yard, I'm like, okay, that's 4 sabotages. He has no counter spells. I have to play as if this is true. I'm so far behind. I have to just claw a way out of this game. Got him. There's the seal away. Now I get to discard stuff. So yeah, you see me. I'm like, okay, 1 card left. I have to get this Ixalan's Binding. And I'm like, if this doesn't resolve, I'm pretty sure I just lose. Oh no, I do just lose. So yeah, I'm all in on him having no counterspell plan. So now I'm binding the Dawn of Hope, because once I realized it was my last card, I'm like, I can't keep Niv Mizzet alive, because if he has a counterspell war over binding with Niv Mizzet in the battlefield, I lose. Yep, you make your tokens, sir. Because I have to play and tuck my own Teferi. So yeah, this is why it was important for me to give Niv lifelink and to play all this stuff before he gets sealed away. Otherwise, these tokens would have been lethal. Boom. Tuck my own Teferi. I've stated that the cards in my hand have to be good enough to win the game. What do you have? Why, Eric? Why? Can't believe it took me this long to mention his name. And so he only has, I'm pretty sure, like 11 cards left in his deck. I'm pretty sure I hover over it soon. 12. So I'm like, okay, 3 activations for Escanta. I know everything he has that could win the game. So I'm like, okay, 1 counterspell can kill me if I can't counter it. Vraska's Contempt can kill me. I guess I do have 2 Teferi, but if he does an end step, I can't play the other Teferi, so. Yep, pretty crazy. So here we go. I play Teferi, and I'm pretty sure I make a mistake here. Because I think he Sinister Sabotage. Yeah, he activates this, finds his last Sabotage. So I'm like, this is number 4. I got him. So I just got a little too excited for that. What I should have done is let this Teferi die, then play the other Teferi. Because there's a good chance he still has Vraska's Contempt or Eldest Reborn in there somewhere. And I need a way to be able to deal with those instant speed so I, my Teferi doesn't die and I'm not waiting on tucking another Teferi with 0 cards in my deck. So I should have let this one get countered and then just play another Teferi. So we'll see whether or not I get punished for it. Because that's a pretty big misplay. Now I only have 1 counterspell and it's Syncopate. So you could argue I should have used Syncopate right there, but it would have completely tapped me out. And I'm thinking, okay, he probably has a Vraska's Contempt. If he plays that, Syncopate will work. Otherwise, if I tap myself up for this and I can't counter the Syncopate, or can't counter the Vraska's Contempt, then we're kind of screwed. And I figure I have more lands than him. If he does play a 4 or 5 mana effect, I should be able to Syncopate for as many lands as he has. Didn't do the math on it, but probably comes out pretty close. And again, I'm still pretty much the plan anyway of no counterspells at all. So there he is. He was looking through half his deck right now. Best thing he could find is Tribuna. At first I'm like, oh shoot, I'm so screwed. I'm so dead. I'm so ruined. He's gonna get rid of one of my bindings. I'm like, oh yeah. It's under an Ixalan's Binding. You can't even cast it. So guys, this is why you diversify your enchantment removal. Unless you're like me and are stupid and play just all bindings. And yeah, there you see him discard a Teferi and I'm like, okay. Maybe I was worried over nothing. Maybe his hand really is just all spells he can't cast. Which is why it was interesting to me he wasn't drawing cards before. But maybe he was assuming he just had something to get rid of an Ixalan's Binding. Couldn't tell you. But at this point I'm like, alright, we have a chance, guys. We have a chance. He's looked through half his deck, 1 more Escanta activation, and I know if we have this in the bag. Unless he's slow rolling me like so hard. So yeah, you see him here with the main phase Escanta activation. And nothing. He whiffed. Doesn't get it. GG, I won this game. Who knows how? Who even knows how? It's crazy. But yeah, just thought you guys might like that one. That was the craziest control mirror I've ever seen. Holy cow. Came down to the wire. So let me know if you guys want to see more stuff like this, with some commentary on just the highlights, and then maybe just gameplay for the other stuff. Let me know if you'd like music for this and or that sort of stuff, or just the audio from the game. And hopefully see you guys around. Thanks so much for watching.